I couldn't be prouder to have had the opportunity to serve my country, and particularly to work for this president. He has accomplished so much in these 2.5 years, and it's truly been something I will treasure forever. It's one of the greatest jobs I could ever have. I've loved every minute, even the hard minutes.
Well, there were a few of those. An emotional goodbye for Sarah Sanders following the announcement she's stepping down as White House press secretary at the end of the month. Joining us now is her predecessor, former White House press secretary Sean Spicer. He's also senior advisor and spokesman for the America First Action PAC. An interesting way she acknowledged back to some of the harder moments and what was a very challenging job for her and for you when you were in those shoes, Sean. The president thanked her, said job well done, even called her a warrior on Fox this morning.
He's right. It's a very tough job, no matter what administration you do it in. In this one, clearly, there's a lot more intensity and interaction with the press. But she did a phenomenal job. She served this president well, and you know, she finally gets to go back and be the mom that she wants to be to those 3 young kids that she has, and spend time with her husband and the rest of her family. So, you know, people forget sometimes that these jobs, you're serving the American people, but there's a lot of sacrifice in terms of time away from family and friends and events that you can go to. So I hope that she finally gets that time. What
about some of those challenges she faces? We were talking to Howie Kurtz earlier about, you know, just looking back at even that White House Correspondents' Dinner where she was personally attacked while she sat on that stage and took it with grace. It was a long few years, I'm sure, for her and her family, but as you look back and now you see the media reaction to her departure, they haven't exactly been nice.
No, they have not. It has become a much more personal relationship with a lot of these attacks, and I know that the press corps always focuses on their end of it, you know, but it's also on the other end, which is Sarah and the other people that are serving in government right now, where if they don't get the answer they want, they make this very, very personal. And you get a thick skin, but it never stops coming through. Those attacks don't stop hurting.
What about a potential political bid for Sarah Sanders?
Well, I mean, look, she's got high name ID. She's a very likable person. She's hardworking, smart, and she's got public service in her DNA. Clearly, she watched her father ascend from lieutenant governor to the longest-serving governor of Arkansas. So I don't know what office or when, but she would make an amazing public servant. I think she clearly wants to go back to Arkansas, spend a little bit of time reconnecting with family and friends, probably doing a little work in private sector. But I could easily see public service re-entering her life at some point.
Since you mentioned it, her father, the former governor of Arkansas, is going to be joining us in just a bit, so we'll ask him more about that in a minute. But first, before you go, Sean, as far as filling these shoes,
yeah.
Any ideas? What's the president going to do?
I do have some ideas, but look, this person, whoever it is, the president's got plenty of good choices in the White House, in his administration, and a few people outside the administration. At the end of the day, this is going to come down to who the president really feels has good chemistry with him. This press secretary, unlike previous ones, you've always have a good relationship with. But as you know, and everybody who sees the president knows, he really takes communication very, very seriously. The words he chooses, the tone of those words. And so he's got to have that relationship and that chemistry with whomever the next person is. So I could see a variety of people serving that, but ultimately it's going to kind of come down to whether he feels that he's got good chemistry and good interaction with whoever the final candidate is.
Do you happen to know if the president has anybody in mind, Sean?
Well, I'm sure he does, but I have not had an opportunity to speak with him in the last 24 hours, so I don't know if he specifically has someone.
But you personally have some ideas.
Well, sure. I mean, there are people that clearly are working in the press shop now.
Care to
some
name
people
any
that have
names?
done No, I don't. I think you know. I mean, there are senior people in the press shop. There are some folks that have done some great work in his administration at senior levels of media relations in other departments. And then there's people that have been in that orbit through the campaign and associated with the campaign outside the administration that would all make fine candidates. It's going to be up to the president to decide who he really has that chemistry with. But far be it from me to second guess who he feels would do the best job.
It's an incredibly important position, and we will see what ultimately happens next with all of that. Sean Spicer, great to have you on that this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandra.